You ever walk into a room and feel like nobody sees you, like you're just a ghost passing through? That's how it was for Tom Harper, an old man sitting alone in a corner booth at Rosie's Diner in Willow Creek, Tennessee, on a sunny Veterans Day morning. His faded jacket hung loose on his thin frame, snow-white hair tucked under a worn cap, and on his left wrist, a tattoo so old it looked like it might have been drawn with a ballpoint pen, a knife piercing a star, barely visible against his weathered skin. The diner was buzzing, folks laughing over coffee, plates of pancakes stacked high, the air thick with bacon grease and chatter. It was discount day for veterans, and the place was packed: families, retirees, a few young guys in camo hats tossing around stories of their service. Tom, though, he just sat there, nursing a glass of water, his tray holding a single piece of toast and a scoop of eggs, the cheapest thing on the special menu. At a table nearby, a group of guys mid-40s, loud, the kind who think they own the place, kept stealing glances at him. "Look at that tattoo," one of them snorted, leaning back in his chair. "Bet he got it at some county fair, trying to look tough." The others chuckled, forks clinking against plates. "Yeah, if he's a vet, I'm the damn president," another one piped up, loud enough for half the diner to hear. Tom didn't flinch, didn't look up, just kept staring at his eggs, like he'd heard it all before. See, Tom wasn't just some old guy with a limp and a cheap meal. Back in '68, he was a radio man with SEAL Team Delta, running comms for covert ops in the jungles of Vietnam. He wasn't the guy pulling the trigger. He was the one making sure the team got out alive, plotting routes, calling in choppers, keeping the radios alive through monsoons and gunfire. He lost his right leg to a booby trap in '69, dragging two wounded buddies to safety while his own blood soaked the dirt. No parades when he got home, no medals pinned to his chest. Most of his missions were classified, buried in some Pentagon filing cabinet. All he had was that tattoo, a symbol his 8-man team had scratched into their skin one night, a promise to always have each other's backs. Now, as far as Tom knew, he was the only one left. Inside Rosie's, things took a turn. A waitress, maybe 19, nervous and new, walked up to Tom's table, her hands twisting in her apron. Sir, I'm really sorry," she said, barely meeting his eyes. "But some folks complained you're making them uncomfortable. Could you maybe sit outside?" The table of loudmouths smirked, one muttering, "About time." Tom just nodded, slow, like he was used to it. He grabbed his cane, balanced his tray in his shaking right hand, and started limping toward the door. Each step was a fight. His prosthetic leg, 40 years old and creaking, wasn't built for grace. A kid in line tugged at his mom's sleeve. "Why's he walking like that?" The mom shushed him, whispering, "Just an old guy, honey, don't stare." As Tom passed the loudmouth's table, one leaned forward, voice dripping with sarcasm. "If you're a SEAL, old man, then I'm freaking Rambo." The table erupted in laughter, heads thrown back, like they'd just heard the best joke in town. Tom kept moving, but if you looked close, you'd see a single tear hit the checkered floor. Nobody stopped him. Nobody asked. The manager, behind the counter, glanced over, then turned back to the register, like it was just another Sunday. Outside, the patio was empty, the sun beating down on cracked plastic tables. Tom eased himself into a chair, setting his tray down with care, like it was all he had. His eggs were cold now, the toast soggy, but he ate anyway, staring out at the parking lot where cars glinted in the heat. This wasn't new to him, this feeling of being pushed out, invisible. He'd been coming to Rosie's every Veterans Day for years, not for the discount, but for a promise he'd made to his buddy, Mike Larson, the guy who didn't make it out of that jungle. Mike used to talk about this diner, how they'd come here when they got home, split a burger, and laugh about the dumb stuff they did as kids. That promise was all Tom had left of him. Back inside, the door swung open, and in walked Ethan Cole, a 28-year-old SEAL, home on leave, his buzz cut sharp, his walk all-purpose. He scanned the room, then froze, his eyes locking on Tom's wrist as the old man limped back inside to grab a napkin. That tattoo, the knife, through the star. Ethan's heart skipped. He'd seen it before, not in person, but in grainy photos during training, when instructors told stories about the ghost radio man who rewrote extraction protocols under fire. Ethan stepped forward, his voice cutting through the diner's hum. "Excuse me, sir. Were you with Delta Team, 68 to 69? Tom blinked, startled, his cane wobbling in his grip. "Long time ago," he said, voice gravelly. "But yeah, I was." Ethan snapped to attention, right there in the middle of Rosie's, and gave a crisp salute. The diner went dead quiet. Forks stopped. Conversations died. All eyes on the young seal and the old man. Ethan turned to the room, his voice steady but burning. "This man's a legend. You don't know who you're laughing at." He pointed at Tom. "That's Harper, call sign Echo 9. They still teach his comms protocols at Coronado." The loudmouths' faces went red, one choking on his coffee. Ethan didn't stop. He pulled 3 men out of a kill zone with half his leg gone. "You think that tattoo's a joke? It's the mark of a team most of you'll never understand." The room stayed silent, like the air had been sucked out. An older woman at a corner table stood, clapping slowly, tears in her eyes. Then a whole row of folks stood, some saluting, some just nodding, like they were seeing Tom for the first time. The manager hurried over, sweating, hands raised. "Sir, I'm so sorry, total misunderstanding. Your meal's on us, and you're welcome here anytime, best table in the house." Tom just shook his head, a small smile breaking through. "Don't need all that. Just came to remember a friend." Ethan softened, stepping closer. "Mind if I sit with you, sir? I'd love to hear about him." Tom nodded, and they took the best booth in the place, not outside, but right in the heart of the diner. The loudmouths. They slunk out one by one, leaving their burgers half-eaten, faces burning with shame. The waitress from earlier, Lily, came over with fresh coffee, her voice shaky. "I'm so sorry about before. My grandpa, he was in Vietnam too. Never talked much about it." Tom looked up, his eyes kind but heavy. "What was his name?" She swallowed. "David Larson." Tom froze, his hand trembling as he pulled a faded photo from his wallet. A young guy, grinning, holding a beer. "Your grandpa," he said, voice catching, "promised me a burger here. Said it'd be the best meal we ever had." Lily's eyes welled up, and for a moment, it was like Mike was there, sitting with them. Word spread fast. By next week, a local blogger had posted about the salute that stopped the diner, and it blew up online. Millions of shares, comments pouring in about respect, about veterans forgotten. People started showing up at Tom's little repair shop down the road, not just for fixes, but to listen, to learn. Kids sent him letters, asking for stories. Ethan went back to his base, but he wrote Tom every month, sharing bits of his own missions. The town didn't stop there. They threw a ceremony for unsung veterans, named a street Harper's Way, not just for Tom, but for every quiet hero like him. Years later, when Tom turned 85, Ethan showed up with a crew of young SEALs, all there to meet the man from the stories. Lily brought her kids, telling them about their great-grandpa Mike. When Tom passed, the whole town came out, hundreds, some wearing pins with that knife-through star tattoo. Ethan and 5 other SEALs carried his coffin, and a veterans group made sure his old prosthetic was replaced with a new one, a final nod to his service. Tom's tombstone read, "His silence built bridges. His courage saved lives." That day in Rosie's wasn't just about one man, it was about all the ones we overlook, the ones who carry scars we can't see. So what do you think? When you see someone like Tom, do you stand up, or do you look away? Drop a comment. Share your take. Have you ever misjudged someone, or seen someone get the respect they deserve too late? Let's keep this conversation going.